This is Jocko podcast number 259 with me, Jocko Willink. The A1Es arrived just as the team started taking incoming mortar fire. Nguyen quickly calculated the coordinates for the mortar's location and the information was passed on to Covey, who in turn relayed it to the A1Es. A laconic whistling voice came back down the line. "It's crispy critter time, so y'all keep your heads down." Within seconds, the area in front of the team exploded into flame, the deadly napalm coating everything in its erupting path. Flaming NVA soldiers ran briefly toward the team before falling to the ground in agonizing death throes, the hand grenades and ammunition they carried cooking off like firecrackers. Unfortunately, the elephant grass was also set on fire. The napalm had definitely slowed the NVA advance, but it had not stopped it. Covey reported that extraction choppers were 5 minutes out and the team needed to move fast. 2 gunships from the 7th Air Cav roared over the LZ. Watkins put out 2 bright orange marker panels and the gunships confirmed they had the team in sight. As they looped back to make their first strafing run, the gunships reported that a large enemy force was moving toward the LZ and they were going to attempt to discourage it. As they made their run, pouring M60 machine gun fire and rockets into the enemy, RT Lion could see the air fill with green tracers hitting the helicopters. They were taking a vicious beating, but they hung in there and kept pouring fire down on the NVA. It was an incredible show of raw guts and determination. Covey came on the radio to say the gunships had taken casualties and were leaking fuel, oil, hydraulic fluid, and just about everything else, so they were being forced to head home, but the extraction slicks were on station. RT Lion looked around and could see its salvation coming toward it on its nose. Although they were flying at a good clip, it appeared as if they were moving at an agonizingly slow speed. As with the gunships before them, they were taking a horrendous amount of fire. One chopper was hit badly and began losing fuel. After a brief confab, the rescue package suddenly broke off its approach and headed back the way it had come, leaving nothing but smoke and RT Lion's hopes for rescue behind. When Watkins asked Covey what this meant in terms of time on the ground, all Hartness could do was say that he'd contact the S3 and ask for a new set of extraction assets ASAP. In the meantime, he promised to get more tactical air support over the team and do all he could to keep them alive. While Watkins appreciated the sentiments, this did not do much to raise his spirits. In his heart of hearts, he felt the team's position was precarious and likely to get much worse and quickly. The NVA had literally thousands of men it could throw at the team, while the team had only so much ammunition and not much by way of cover. What he told his team members, however, was that there was going to be a slight delay and reminded them to keep vigilant and be ready for an attack. What he didn't have the heart to tell them was it could be hours before another rescue attempt was made. Their stay at Oscar 8 was far from over. One of the brews suddenly signaled that NVA troops were crawling toward the team through the elephant grass. The news was passed on to Covey, who responded that he had 2 A1Es standing by, one loaded with CBUs and the other with rockets. Both aircraft had their deadly 20mm cannons locked and loaded. Watkins told Covey to bring in the CBU as fast as possible and to lay it down as close to the team as they could get. In less than 2 minutes, the team saw an A1E appear in front of their position, its 20mm cannons roaring away. It flew so low they could see the pilot turn his head to locate the team as he released his ordnance. Unfortunately, some of the mini bombs exploded so close to RT Lion that 2 Brew received light wounds. This was distressing, but Watkins considered it one of the acceptable prices a recon team paid to keep from being overrun by a superior force. As the A1Es departed, a small group of NVA suddenly rose up out of the grass behind the team and charged them, AK-47s blazing on full automatic. DeSeta, his red communist star facing forward, rose up and opened fire at near point-blank range. The Brew joined in as other groups of NVA popped up from the elephant grass and attempted assault after assault. What followed was several hours of deadly cat and mouse, with the mouse hunkered down in its little hole and the NVA cat making paw swipe after paw swipe in an attempt to claw it out or do it in. An ironic situation for the team to find itself in. While RT Lion fended off attacks, Covey directed airstrike after airstrike at the NVA troops, the storage area, the anti-aircraft guns, and anything else he could draw a bead on. Throughout the day, primary and secondary explosions followed one another as the strikes found their mark. Whatever the team's fate might turn out to be, the NVA were paying a hellacious price for messing with it. With daylight, ammunition, and ideas running out, it was like a true message from God when Watkins heard Covey report that South Vietnamese Air Force 219th Special Operations Squadron had one of its legendary Kingbees en route. For once, Watkins' spirits actually rose. Not that he didn't love the living daylights out of the 7th Air Cav, but the Vietnamese of the 219th had, time after time after time, proven themselves to be about the most daring, most imaginative, most aggressive, and all-around finest pilots on the face of the globe. If RT Lion had any chance of getting out of this hellhole, a Kingbee pilot was the one who would find it and exploit it, no matter how slight the chance was or how deadly the odds. That was simply what they were pledged and committed to doing day after day. More good news followed when Covey relayed that the lone Kingbee would be escorted by Marine gunships from HML 367, a bad bunch of flyers that went by the code name Scarface. Things were definitely going to rock and roll with them on station. Scarface enjoyed nothing more than kicking NVA butt and taking names, and then coming back around to kick more butt just for good measure, on general principle and for the sheer fun of it. However, Covey splashed a healthy dose of cold water on Watkins by reminding him it was very nearly dark and that despite all the bombs dropped, rockets fired, and gun runs made, the enemy was still pumping out an enormous amount of fire and still moving forward. Pulling RT Lion out of Oscar 8 was going to be as difficult and dangerous an extraction as could be imagined. And they would have just one chance to pull it off. If they muffed it, RT Lion would be spending the night and would most likely not see the next morning. Sobering information indeed, but Watkins did not want to discourage his team, so he just gave them his best grin and said, "Let's get ready to go." In the distance, Watkins could hear the distinctive sound of the old 9-piston Sikorsky H-34 Kingbee chugging its way along, a steady bass note to the higher whop 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 of the Hueys. He squinted into the twilight, and when he could finally make out their dim silhouettes, he flashed his strobe through the barrel of an M79 grenade launcher so as to mask it from enemy sight. The helicopters acknowledged having RT Lion's mark, and the Hueys immediately divided and made a split run, one raking the team's forward perimeter with rockets and machine gun fire, and the other working its rear. It was a beautiful show. Watkins yelled over the noise to blow all the claymores. By setting off all the claymores at once, he hoped to avoid having any uninvited NVA join the team. They went off in a deafening blast and blinding flash. The little mouse had roared. As the Scarface duo looped around to make their second and final run, they confirmed there were dozens of dead and dying NVA scattered around within feet of the bomb crater. Unfortunately, they also saw more troops advancing. It was down to the short strokes. As the Scarface gunships began their last pass, the Kingbee tucked itself in behind them and came roaring on. But rather than sat down outside the crater and have the team come to him, as Watkins fully expected, the pilot pulled up and hovered over the crater. As the team looked up in disbelief, the old H-34 Warbird began gently settling itself down toward the team like a mother hen about to cover her chicks, thus also decreasing the silhouette to enemy troops. By the light of the burning elephant grass, Watkins was able to see into the Kingbee's cockpit and was startled to find the co-pilot seat empty. In the pilot seat was his much admired friend, Captain On, a man who had saved Watkins' bacon on many other occasions, but none quite like what he faced here at Oscar 8. Captain On lowered his Kingbee toward the team with a precision and steadiness that gave an entirely new meaning to the word cool. His face was smooth and calm, but there was steel in his eyes as he worked both feet and hands to maneuver the chopper as close to RT line as he could. At one point, Watkins could have sworn that An nodded to him, as if in a casual greeting. The whole scene bordered on surrealistic. What with the LZ lit by a flickering brush fire, the sounds of gunfire and explosions, the smell of cordite and burned human flesh, and this improbable savior hovering above. As Watkins had experienced before, the action took on a dreamlike quality. Sounds faded as if someone had turned down the volume. The air thickened. Movement appeared to be in slow motion, and the brain snapped individual frames that would never ever be forgotten. The looks of fear or pain on their faces, bodies being blasted backward, a piece of someone on the ground, a scrap of cloth, one's own hand clutching a weapon or shaking wildly as it tries to execute some simple, well-rehearsed, but now impossibly difficult task. This is what war looks like to a mind under stress. Watkins could hear small arms fire thumping into the Kingbee's body as he fully expected that at any moment it would either pull up and exit or come crashing down on them. But it did neither. It settled into a stationary hover, its front wheels placed delicately inside the crater. And there it sat, an unbelievable vision, a heroic portrait of an old warrior taking a pounding but refusing to falter. Watkins, DeSada, and Godwin began heaving the brew into the chopper. Godwin followed. DeSada, after taking an anxious look at his team leader, was next, his bright red star pointed over his right ear, as if he wasn't quite sure whether he wanted to be going or staying. Finally, in accordance with that time-honored tradition, the 1-0's feet were the last to leave the killing ground of Oscar 8. With the door gunner and team pouring small arms fire and M79 rounds into the perimeter beyond its rim, the Kingbee lifted up and out of the crater. As a last defiant gesture, Watkins threw a red smoke grenade onto the LZ. This gesture was universally understood by everyone who supported SOG to signal that the team was safely out, the LZ clear, and everyone else was free to pound the living daylights out of it. But RT Line was not home free, not yet at least. Anti-aircraft rounds were bursting around them like a World War II ack-ack fire. Captain An was dipping and juking in an effort to dodge the bursts and make himself harder to track. He still looked calm, cool, and collected, as if he were making a routine flight. For these guys, thought Watkins, maybe this was a routine flight. When the Kingbee touched down at Khe Sanh, DeSada, Godwin, and the grinning door gunner walked around poking their fingers into bullet holes and counting them, but they soon gave up. There were too many, and besides, it was just too unsettling to contemplate what might have been. Watkins learned later that Captain An had chosen to fly solo in the Oscar 8 because he knew exactly how dangerous this mission was. He'd lost Kingbees there before and was determined not to risk more lives than necessary. He figured if the gods ordained that his ship go down while trying to save RT Lion, it would just be him and the door gunner. It seemed like a simple and perfectly logical decision. No big deal. Incredibly, everyone who participated in the mission was alive and well. The men of RT Lion were home, seasoned veterans of Oscar 8. It had indeed been their time after all. So that is a whole different kind of heroism. Because look, when you're on the ground, in many cases, you don't even have a choice but to be a hero. You either step up or you die. But for these pilots, men like Captain An, they don't really have to do anything heroic. They could easily say that the landing zone's too hot, or they've already been shot, or they're low on fuel, or whatever. But they're safe in their aircraft. and they see the hell that is going on, and they see the hell that they are going into, bullets and rockets and anti-aircraft, and they go anyway. They go anyway. Men like Captain Nguyen, a pilot in the South Vietnamese Air Force who flew countless missions, insanely dangerous missions, in support of American and South Vietnamese SOG teams. He's a recipient of the Silver Star and the Distinguished Flying Cross, and it is an absolute honor to have Captain An with us here to talk about his experiencing fighting in Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. Captain An, it's an absolute honor to have you here.
Thank you.
And I guess also joining us once again is John Stryker Meyer, Tilt, Special Forces member of SOG, who has been on this podcast before.
Couple times.
180, 181, 182, 186 with the Frenchman, 247, 248, and the last one with Cowboy Khan. 258. Back again. Thank you so much. And when you first came on, after the first couple times, people started asking almost immediately to if I could find a Kingbee pilot. And I know as soon as you very quickly mentioned Captain An.
Always.
Number one Kingbee.
For sure.
Thank you.
So An, tell us about what it was like growing up. Where did you grow up?
I was grew up in Hanoi, north of Vietnam, and my father decided to move the family to the south in 1954.
Now, was that after the French got beat?
Yeah.
So did your father kind of recognize that bad things could happen?
Yes.
And what did your father do for a living?
You mean before 55? After
Yeah.
54? Oh, he has some kind of business to cut the lumber.
Like a lumber yard.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he hired people to do it, but he organized the office. And after 54, we moved down to the south, and he worked for one of the French company.
Oh, he worked for a French company?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
After 54, when we moved to the south.
Okay. And what did you do? How old were you when you moved to the south?
Oh, I was 11.
11 years old.
Yeah. And my father sent myself and my brother, my younger brother at that time he was 10, and to fly to with one of the friend to the south.
Now, did you have any understanding of what was happening with the communists in North Vietnam? Did you have any understanding of that yet?
Oh, but before we go to we went to the south, then. I remember at night I sleep next to my father, and he was criticizing Ho Chi Minh because my oldest brother was killed in 45 when he was 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the communists.
Yeah.
So once you got down to South Vietnam, now you're 11 years old. And what did you were you just going to school?
Yes, I did. And since we moved around all the time from Hanoi to Hai Phong, and then go to the south, and I myself and my brother next to me, we all try to make 2 grade in 1 year.
You trying to make what in 1 year?
2 grade.
Oh, okay. Were you able to do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did.
Nice. Nice.
And in 62, yeah, I joined the Air Force. And
So-
my brother, he got the scholarship from USOM, and he went here too.
So 1962 is when you joined the Air Force.
Yes.
And once you joined the Air Force, did you know you were going to be a pilot?
Yes.
Okay. So
but I didn't believe it I would be. Because I couldn't ride the car, couldn't ride
He would get
a
airsick.
train,
Oh,
even an airplane, a bus. Because every time I got in the car, my stomach come up in my mouth.
He was car sick, truck sick, train sick, every sick
Yeah.
he would get.
yeah, that's not fun.
Yeah.
But eventually you were able to get over that?
Yes. The first time my IP, he demonstrated the engine quit rotation, and I thought I feel my stomach come up, and I feel, oh my God, how can fly? But later on, I get used with it,
Right.
and I like it.
I know that they have something for American pilots, and I don't know if they made you do this. They have something where if you get air sickness, they have something, I think it's in Texas, it's called spin and puke. And they basically put you in this machine every day, and it spins you around and makes you sick until you get used to it.
Really?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. So I guess you didn't do that.
No.
You didn't have to go to the spin and puke.
One auto rotation helped.
Yeah.
So how long were you in the Air Force before you started training to become a pilot?
When I joined in the Air Force in late '62, and formally it was on January 1st of '63.
Okay.
And I was have the basic military training in Nha Trang, and also the ESL for 6 months. And in July '63, I was sent here to get the training.
So you came to America.
Yeah, and get the ESL again training in
English training.
Yep.
in San Antonio.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go to San Antonio to learn how to speak English.
Oh, in Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
When I get the military training and the ESL English training for 6 months, and then when I went to San Antonio, Texas, for another 4 months for ESL English. After that, I went to Fort Waters in Texas.
Okay. And what was
For
Fort
the,
Waters for?
For the primary helicopter training.
Okay.
It's the H-23.
The S-23 chopper.
H-23, yeah.
H-23 chopper.
H-23.
Small and ugly.
That's like the that's like the bubble canopy, right?
Similar to that, yes.
Yeah,
Different variation, yeah.
It's the old one.
And then, so how long did you spend in America training to fly?
From the first training, I got the advanced training on the H-23 too. And then after I finished it, I went to Alabama to get the training on the H-34.
The Kingbee.
The Kingbee.
And what was your first impression of the Kingbee?
Oh, it was big. Because from H-23 is a small one.
Tiny.
Yeah, tiny one. And when I finished the training on the H-34, I was transferred to get the training on the Huey. At that time, they only have at the school. They only have the A model. It's a small one.
The A model Huey?
Yeah.
What did you like
first.
better? What did you like better, the Huey or the Kingbee?
It's a Kingbee. Because the Kingbee have about, at that time, have about 1,500 horsepower.
Okay.
But the Huey A model have only 900 horsepower.
But the Huey's a lot smaller than the Kingbee.
Yes, it is smaller. And
But did you feel like you had more power in the Kingbee?
no.
No?
Yeah. Because it's too easy. too easy to fly that one. Because on the H-34, I got total about 100 hours.
How many hours?
100 hours.
100 hours?
Yes.
Wow.
Total. And but on the Huey, I only get the 9 hours.
Okay.
And the pilot, the captain pilot who checked me, he said, "Okay, you can stay home. You don't need to fly anymore. You stay home so he can have more time to train other people."
Got it.
Other people didn't learn as quickly as he did.
Got it.
So I was off for 1 week and just go around.
So then, so is that what you got trained in? You completed all that training?
Yes.
And then it was going back to Vietnam?
Yes, in 64, around July 64.
So in 64, America's there, but not super heavy engaged in combat operations yet.
Not yet.
What was it like when you got back? Were you starting to anticipate? Was it starting to seem like there was going to be a broader war being fought there?
Don't forget, in June of 1964, Roger Dahlin earned the first Medal of Honor at a Green Beret A camp. So there were major battles at the A camps at that level. And of course the Kingbees even then were supporting some of the A camps. So that was the beginning of that war at a serious level. And yes, we didn't get the American troops involved to Hai Drang Valley, but they began to build up, and the Marines came into Da Nang. So he was all part of that.
What year did the Marines come into Da Nang?
It was 64, I think.
Yeah.
64,
Yeah,
65.
64.
Yeah, because it's always Hai Drang in 65. That sort of, in my mind, marks the beginning of like heavy American combat operations.
Yes, that's a formal battle between American 1st Cav and the NVA.
So, but yeah, definitely prior to that, it was advisors in there working by, with, and through the locals.
Right.
And yeah. So you were seeing all that happen. You were seeing that start to unfold. Were you? At what point did you start flying the Kingbees in support of special operations?
When I first came back from the U.S. training, I was assigned to the 217 Squadron, and the 217 Squadron first stationed at Saigon, and in later 65 was moved to Canton in the south, and in February 1966, I was assigned to the 83rd group. This is the group that combined fixed wing and helicopter to fly the secret mission. And later on, the helicopter group become 219. But the group of the helicopter group in 83rd Special Group have only 4 helicopters. Yeah, but when we became the 219, we have 24 of them.
Did you know what you were getting into?
Yeah,
with those kind
I like it.
And of course, he's very modest. The first 2 years, basically, from when he went to the 217th, the commander of that unit didn't like North Vietnamese. So he was only a co-pilot, but he'd fly co-pilot. He'd get very bored. He wants to get more action. So he finally gets the request, and he goes and gets the action.
So once you started doing that, what was that like? What was it like to start going out on those operations where there was all this incredible intensity on the ground?
I think it's more exciting than in a normal squadron.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably more exciting than a normal squadron.
Oh, indeed.
What was the operational pace like? How often were you getting called to fly? What would happen? Would you be on standby, waiting to go extract people? would you sit and plan with the guys from SOG so you all were working together? How did all that work?
Everything worked like that.
Because you had a rotation. Like 1 week they would be on assignment, 1 week they'd be training, and another week they'd be getting ready. Mm-hmm. And then in 1 week or so they'd be on assignment. They could be up at Phu-Bai. Yeah. Then they go down to Kontum, wherever the most, depending on the weather, what missions were up.
So would SOG ground guys go and, would you sit down and say, okay, here's what we're going to insert.
They would get the op order, and they would be in for the briefing prior to launch.
Yeah, before that we went out to the operation, that we have the briefing, what we are going to do, and where we are going to work. But since I was so familiar with the whole border from Khe Sanh down to Pleiku, Ban Ma Thuột, the whole border around there along the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Mm-hmm. I'm so familiar that I just I don't need to bring map.
You were that familiar with it.
Yeah.
And here's another king. During those briefings, when they're there as a 1-0, the Kingbees, as we went further into the war, their briefing would say, we found 23 Mike here, 37 Mike anti-aircraft weaponry in those targets. So they would tell the Covey, and with their expertise would be another bonus that we had in terms of our briefing, where not to fly. And that's one of the briefing parts. So it's like we hear what the mission was, get that from S3, but we'd always hear from them, then the Covey after that. Oh, yeah.
So you'd be flying basically some kind of combat mission every day or 2 days, 3 days at the most.
Or sometimes in one day we are through 3 missions. Each mission lasts about less than 2 hours. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, that's what's cool about being a pilot, right? 2 hours, 2 hours and you're done.
If you live to come home, you're fine.
If you live to come home, you're doing all right. You're back eating good chow and drinking a cold beer.
Indeed.
So how long did it take before you finally ended up getting shot down?
Ooh.
Like I know you ended up getting shot down. How long were you flying for before you got shot down for the first time?
Over 4 years.
For the first time, let's see.
Oh, that's right, the first time.
Sometime in 67 or 66, I don't remember. Because I was shot down four times. And
you were shot down 4 times?
Yeah. And I don't even remember which day was that. Except the last time I lost my hand.
Remember that.
Yeah. The first time you got shot, you don't really remember what happened the first time you got shot down?
The first time I was shot down was in south of the Marble Mountain. Mm-hmm. And in the morning, we supposed to take the platoon to make the security line south of the Marble Mountain.
And Marble Mountain, right where FOB4 was. Mm-hmm. So this is an in-country mission. And they're picking up a battalion to put it on the south side of Marble Mountain because FOB4 was on the north side. Mm-hmm. And they were having some issues. They put the battalion out there for security purposes to work along with the Marines at that point. And so 7 o'clock in the morning, South Vietnam, he gets shot down.
Yeah. I went out at 6 o'clock and insert drop the troop. And when the second Kingbee land, and he said that he got the ground fire, and I told him, remember which way, and I come back to mountain, pick up more people, and then land again, and ask him which direction is that. He said 2 o'clock, and I take up and head to 2 o'clock direction. And I saw a line of people was moving with the only woman and she a kid. And with you remember the 2 baskets that they carry?
Yes.
Yeah. And I told the crew chief, only people, civilian people, don't shoot. And as long as I finished it, I heard a a long fire from that people, from those people, and the engine just quit, and I make a crash to on the rice paddy, and the third chopper came down to pick me up and bring me back to Da Nang, and at 9 o'clock I go out again to take that chopper back. And we took that chopper back. The mechanics, they couldn't find any around, so they keep asking me, tell them what happened, what really happened. If we couldn't find any route, then it must be the technical problem. And I said, yes, I did. I heard the route, the fire. And later in the afternoon, one of the mechanic ship, he opened the front door, of the engine, and he looked around, and suddenly he saw the lid, the cap of the magneto. There was a hole in there.
Oh, so that was it.
And he was wondering, why this there is a hole in it, why the people didn't change it. So he called the mechanic and opened it. Oh, my bullet was in there, and that makes all the igniter.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you would go back out and you went back out and recovered that aircraft?
Yeah.
What, would you tie straps onto it and bring it back, or how would you do it?
I go out and we to show them how to bring the down the aircraft back.
Would you bring it back with another helicopter?
Yeah.
Just tie it on and bring it back and then start working on it? Did you feel jinxed going back in that aircraft again? Like,
no.
Or did you feel lucky? You already got shot down. You made it.
You know when I crashed in the rice paddy, I jumped out of the chopper and grabbed the M30, the old one, the World War II machine gun, and my crew ship carry the armor box, and my co-pilot, he ran along with me. When I picked up the M30, I looked back and I saw the water on the rice paddy was swelling because they were shooting from the village.
Oh,
yeah.
Still.
and I ran to the border of the rice paddy and put the gun on, put the machine gun on, and loaded, and I shot it. I thought, it didn't work. Only can shoot one round in a time with the machine gun.
Yeah, those old 30 calibers were not the most reliable after the first 30 years of combat.
Jeez. I know there's another story where you got shot down again after, and the day before Kingbee had been shot down, and then you went into what happened on that operation?
In that operation, the day before, we went out and to resupply and bring the wound from the team, and I land and pick up some and resupply some. But the second one got shot down by the RPG, and it was about 5 p.m. and when I saw it, and I came back to Jocko, and no, we lost 2 Kingbee at that time. Yeah, 2 Kingbee on the previous day, and I decided not to land anymore.
How did you feel about going on an operation when there was 2 Kingbees shot down the day before, and now you have to go back in there? What did that feel like?
I think that we need to bring the all of my friends back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when I land to at Jocko, the radio man from the camp, he ran out. He said, "Order from Saigon, not to land anymore," and he lowered his voice. But the last decision is yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, I'm going out again." And I asked the Kobe and the two gunship, and my number 4, Kingbee.
Mm-hmm.
I will go in again, and when we
7
were
p.m.?
about at the I tell them just follow me, and when we were about 5 kilometers from the LZ, then you people just skip orbiting, and I will go down by myself, and I wait until 7 o'clock, 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
It's dark, and I say, "Let's go." And I turn on my light, the light, even the dashboard light.
You turn them off?
Turn them all off.
Very faint,
Mm-hmm.
hard to see.
Mm-hmm.
And because anyway, for a long time flying, I can listen to the engine and know how much it was working, and how much how many RPM it is running.
Mm-hmm.
I can listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you were about 5 kilometers from the LZ, I turn off the light and tell other people to orbit, wait for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked the Kobe, "Do you see me?" And he said that yes. So I turn off the engine and go down to the top of the tree, recover, and ask him again, "Do you still see me?" And he said, "Yes." "Okay, guide me in." And the guy turned right, straight, line, left, and the LZ ahead and make a 360 with a 90 nautical mile. Make a 360 degree to land on the LZ.
So they were walking you in and telling you
Covey
Covey was telling you
turn
exactly
left,
where to go,
guide me in.
guiding you in.
Yeah.
At night, at
Man.
treetop, in the jungle. And there's mountains here.
Yeah.
It's not like we're flying in Cambodia where it's flat. He's flying over the hills too, and that's just part of this another day with a Kingbee pilot at night with the lights out, and he got everybody out.
Mm.
Yeah.
And the next day, I came in again, and at 10 a.m. And when I was taking off, and I heard a big blast, and the chopper start to back up because the engine was lost. The blast blew up the engine.
Oh, wait, what blew up the engine?
Yeah,
The enemy fire.
It was hit by the RPG.
Oh, okay, you got hit
right
by an
in the
RPG.
front. Yeah. And I make it right. So I make the right move to keep the chopper go stick to the side of the hill, and still start to lower the left side down so it can hold on the side of the hill, and I jump out, and I say that the co-pilot, when I jump out, my co-pilot, he was on my left side, and I said, "Run!"
So let me make sure I get this. The aircraft gets hit with an RPG.
Yeah.
The engine dies.
The engine came off.
Oh, the engine came off.
Yeah, it blew off the engine.
Okay. And so then
That's why the chopper nose up like this.
so now the chopper goes nose up.
Yeah.
You're going to crash land, and you have to do it on a hillside.
Yeah.
And so you had to kind of maneuver the helicopter to be at an angle.
Yeah. So it won't before we roll down the hill.
And then so you land it. Basically, you are able to crash land it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at your co-pilot and say, "Run."
And we ran uphill.
Okay.
To join the team.
And then so then you joined the SOG team on the ground.
Yes.
Did you carry the M30 again for good luck?
No, at that time we already have M60.
Yeah, okay.
So you got the M60 off of it?
Yeah.
yeah.
On board. But
So then what happened when you joined up with the SOG team?
the South team, because of the M16 and M18 was all over the dish, and I grabbed one of them. No, at first I grabbed one of them, tried to shoot at where the RPG come from, but it didn't work because they shot all of them, and they
Ran out of bullets?
yeah. I think the gun was too dry.
Oh, the gun was too dry?
Yeah, and couldn't shoot anymore.
Okay, so now you're in a perimeter, I guess,
Yeah.
with the team.
They're wounded.
Yeah.
And this is the wounded people he had picked up.
And
What
so-
team was this?
I'm not sure. Salah Khantoum.
Mm-hmm.
This is before my time even, like 67, I think.
So I ran around and found another M79 gun.
Mm-hmm.
And
The grenade launchers.
2 bags of grenade on it. So I just, okay, you shoot me now, I'll give it back to you. I emptied 2 bags of M79.
Yeah.
And I started shooting from 50 meters away from us to 200 meters away from us.
How long were you guys on the ground for before you got extracted?
And when after I shot on the grenade, I called the Kobe, and he said, "You still alive?" "Yeah, I still alive." And I called my rescue pilot because he was on the sky and he saw he said that he saw the frame, the line of frame go and hit my chopper, and my chopper exploded. The front nose exploded, and he thought that I was not dead. But he was lucky, and he said, "Oh, you're still alive?" And I said, "Yeah, but don't land anymore. We have to move."
Yeah, so you hear, if that had been a Huey, they're dead. Everybody's dead. But that's a Kingbee.
Yeah, the UE
And the RPG hit the engine and blew it out, which is a 9-cylinder World War II engine from the B-17, but blew it out of the aircraft, and he still was able to talk about it and walk away from it.
Yeah, and crash land that thing like
On top of on a sideways on a hill, yeah.
So was did the other aircraft, the other Kingbee, then land and pick you guys up quickly, or were you out there for a while?
No, we have to run away from the LZ with the team from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. before I was picked up.
So much for the 2-hour mission.
6 hours. 6 hours.
And you're getting shot up by the NVA the whole time?
Yeah, many times.
And he's learning how to shoot the M79 in between the M16 and the M60, whatever rounds he has. On the job training in Laos.
Jeez. So then you come back from that mission, and then take a shower, get ready, and go brief another mission. That's what you guys did.
No, after that the mission that I was shot down, I went back to they brought me back to Jocko, and at that time my commander, my squadron commander, and the whole staff of the squadron came down to Jocko to see what happened. and
They couldn't believe you were still alive.
And when I first see my squadron command, I said that my flight needs to have 1 week to for vacation to relax.
Did he give it to you?
Yeah, he said, "Okay, you can go."
So all you had to do was take a RPG hit, have your engine blown out, crash land, and do a 6-hour gunfight with the NVA to get a week's vacation. I don't know. That seems like a rough tour.
But the previous day, one of the chopper also got hit by the RPG, and the co-pilot got killed, and the pilot and the mechanic and the cruise ship got burned too. But I brought them home. Yeah. And before the next day before I left the LZ, I ran back to the crash landing of the chopper that went down before the previous day, and tried to look for something. If it can remain of the co-pilot of the previous day, but I couldn't find any. The whole thing was a white ash because the aircraft was the aluminum.
Oh, so it just burned.
It just burned.
That wasn't your last time getting shot down.
No, not yet.
What about your tail rotor getting shot off?
Oh, tail rotor cable. It was in Laos, and I was taking off, and suddenly I feel somebody hit on my my foot, on my feet. I mean, and I asked my cruise ship, "What's happening with the tail rotor?" And he checked along, and he said he got in the tail boom, and said that the cable or the control cable of the tail rotor was shut off. And so because when I feel it hit something hit the pedal, the chopper, when I was taking off, the chopper started to turn right because we don't have the control of the tail. So I moved the cycle to the left and reduce the power, and I accept to be shot with other round rather than crash landing. So I keep taking off with 60 knots and fly 60 knots a little bit sideways, and break from Laos to and I called my the other Kingbee, go ahead and land first and prepare for the extinguish. And because I have to make a crash, and I went back, make a long big traffic, and make a running landing. When the tail wheel touched down, I told my co-pilot, cut off the power. And he cut off the power, and the chopper slowly sat down, and then it started running. And I hit the brake. To stop it, but it wouldn't. But before I touched down, I told my cruise ship, tell the team, 9 of them in the chopper, tell the team when I slow down the chopper, and tell them to jump out.
Oh, 9-man team.
Tell them to jump out, not to remain, because we might make a crash. And finally the chopper turned right and stopped. When I looked down, my God, none of them jumped out. They're still in the chopper.
Man.
Did any of the 9 members of the team get wounded? One guy was wounded?
No.
Nobody's wounded. But yet they shot the rotor, the cable to the rotor.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And the aircraft, between the weight and the way he adjusted the cycling stick,
yeah,
he flew back sideways and decreased the speed. It's like, I never heard that story. This is another one of those, oh my God, stories. Just another day flying Kingbees with Captain on. Now you know why we say never one pilot.
Oh, man.
I tell you one thing. If at that time we have the gunship
Yes.
to go by ourselves, then we can make a lot of things.
Is that right?
Yeah, because you know that when you go out to the operation, the fueling and the thinking of the enemy, what they are thinking, we can guess, but the American, you couldn't guess what they are doing, what they are going to do.
So you're saying that the Americans, we would do random things, but the enemy, you kind of knew what they were going to do. They followed patterns.
We can guess most of them.
Wow.
The Americans just go out and receive a ground fire somewhere and just suppress it, try to suppress it. But for us, we can guess where they are going to put the gun or what they are going to plan. Because sometimes one time I was shot, I was taking off from the LZ and I heard a heavy ground fire from the right side, and I looked back and I saw the NVA sitting behind the 50 caliber and shooting at me, less than 100 yards. And so I dived down to the bamboo top and make the zigzag fly, but I escaped. But the second Kingbee came in and they made it. Second Kingbee got shot down, and caught fire.
Wow.
It's too close, less than 100 yards.
Another one Tilt was telling me about was you got something hit, you got hit by something and it almost knocked you out of your seat.
Yes.
And there was like a 2-inch hole in the back of the Kingbee. What was that?
We couldn't find the foul. We couldn't find the round, and I don't know what kind of gun it was that. But at that time, I was taking off from the LZ in Laos, and suddenly, just like somebody hit me with a hammer in the back and hit me forward. So I used my left knee to hold this collective and keep flying, and use my left hand to check my back, and I say, oh, it's still dry. I mean, I still okay.
No blood.
No blood. And when we got home, I checked what was wrong, and I saw on the back of my seat, the hole was bigger than this one. Yeah. I couldn't find it around.
Did you guys, was there any armor at all on the Kingbee?
No.
No armor, just aluminum.
Aluminum, that's all.
Can't stop anything.
No. Except, there is one armor plate beneath the engine.
Underneath the engine.
Underneath the engine.
They had an armor plate
to
that would be
protect.
about maybe 18 inches or 18 inches wide. It would wrap up on the sides underneath the engine. That's about the only armor I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you wear? Did you wear a
No.
flak vest or anything?
No.
No.
No point.
No. They have really cool Kingbee flight
Just a flight suit.
overalls. They have their Kingbee insignias on them, and they have their holster on their hip like a cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
They were really good looking uniforms. I like the black was best.
How many operations do you think you flew?
Let's calculate. I got 4,000 hours. And minus 1,000 hours for liaison or in the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
So 3,000 hours.
3,000. 3,000 divided to 2 hours for each mission.
So 1,500 or so missions.
Yeah, give or take 100. These are all solid missions.
Yeah. How often would you have enemy contact on the ground when you went in?
usually when I came in to insert the team, and I saw something. This is like one time when I landed to the LZ, and I saw the telephone line on the LZ, and the team was getting off, and he come back, and they come back. That's the one time that I saw it, and I brought them back right away. But most of the time when we got shot, when we take off from the LZ, when the team were chased
For the extraction.
Yeah, for the extraction.
Yeah.
So most of the time you could get in. Well, you would just pull the team out almost immediately if you guys took contact.
Right. Yeah. If we were compromised, then we just try to get it back, go out if we could.
What percentage do you think you guys were compromised on the insert?
Probably a lot more than we realized.
Mm-hmm.
Because they would have the LZ watchers, and they would like to get us on the ground first, particularly by the end of '68, because they had the SOG hunter killer teams that were out there, and their main mission was to find us.
Yeah, I would think they would want to wait till you inserted,
Right.
see you insert, let the helicopters
Yeah.
leave, and then roll you up.
There you go. So the insert usually would go well, unless there are days like we had that time in November where we get shot out, the primary, the secondary, and the alternate. And the Kingbees would go in, bing, 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 go have lunch. They would refuel, have a little lunch. Here's another target, go back and do it again. And often they would come back with bullet holes because we literally got shot out. If there's enemy activity there, we wouldn't go.
Mm-hmm.
You're compromised.
Yeah.
We want to try to at least get on the ground and get it going with the mission. And we had several days like that, back to back to back, and the Kingbees got beat up. But fortunately, none of us got shot down.
And the Sikorsky's just a beat. That's just a just a hoss of a aircraft.
Yeah, it only had one door, but it had the windows. So whenever we're extracted, the first man in the chopper would go to the left window.
You mean the port side?
Port. That's what I meant. I always get the port confused with the starboard unless I'm drinking port. And that would be our SOP.
That's an Army man right there.
Indeed.
The left side.
Yes. Is the bulkhead secure?
The bulkhead is secure. There you go. You're all Navy.
And then right here we could interject. Sometimes they would be in the air, and there would be an emergency call for any helicopter, which he did in August of 1969. I forget what you were on, but this is that mission with Scarface.
Mm-hmm.
And Scarface was making a gun run, and they were working in conjunction with the 101st Airborne on their air mobile units.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a river stream, and they were making a gun run. So the 101st had gone down with the Cobra. They had Cobras then. Scarface came in with a regular gunship, got hit. As it went down, it flipped over. The crew members came out. It crashed upside down. They put out an emergency call. On was there. He responds to the call. The gunships went down, and they made a gun run on each side of the upside down Scarface. He followed them right in, and he picked up the two crew members. He picked up, it was either
No, I didn't pick up. I just spot them.
You spotted them first?
Because I flew along the stream to see what if I can find any people, and I spot two of them standing on the big rock about this table, and I called them, let them know, and then so they came down to pick them up, and I keep flying down the stream to look for other people.
Mm-hmm.
When I couldn't find any more, I came back to the downhill.
It's upside down.
And I couldn't see anywhere. Couldn't see inside the cabin or a cockpit, so I used my right wheel to turn it back.
You flipped over the Huey
While
with your
under
wheel.
enemy fire.
And I checked inside, and there's nobody in there. So I told them that I couldn't find any more.
Didn't you have your crew chief hang out the door?
Yeah.
And then he was able to say that he saw people in the pilot and the co-pilot
Yeah.
seat. because this day those are only two Scarface Marines, aviators that are still listed as MIA.
Oh,
I think it was the pilot and the crew chief, because the co-pilot got out, and they were able to rescue those two. And the bubble of the front of the Huey is where he put his, the strut, put the wheel in and lifted up the helicopter, and his crew chief goes and hangs out, all while under enemy fire. So in August 2000, Scarface honored Don at a banquet in San Diego to thank him for that heroic mission. And they helped get your award for that mission, correct? Was that part of that?
Not yet.
Not yet. But that was one mission where he was just flying, and they had to call for help. He responded to help Scarface, because Scarface and the 101st had protected Kingbees all the time. And you got shot up on that one, too. It wasn't like we're just another day in the park. He's helping the Marines try to find those aviators. And I'm not sure how many hits he got, but just the fact to go down the stream, put the strut underneath the front nose that had been knocked out, and lift it up to give them a status report. Just another day with the Kingbees. Amazing.
Yeah, the reputation you guys had must have been just. I mean, that opening that I read from this,
Yes.
It's just epic. To hear the relief from Watkins when he hears who it is. Like, okay, now we got a chance.
Yeah, and that was always our golden moment. You're on the ground, you're in a firefight, and they say the Kingbees are coming. It's like, thank God for the Kingbees.
On that mission, when you decide, hey, you know what? I'm not going to bring a co-pilot. I'm not going to bring a crew chief. I'm just going to bring me and the gunner. That's it. Mm-hmm. That seems like a kind of crazy decision to make.
No, because we when I know that the situation was too bad, and we have to go out as fast as we can, so we can bring them home.
As fast as you can, meaning it would have taken time to round up the co-pilot?
No. If one time when we was they were put in mortar in Necto, and I saw the smoke came out from the gun on the other side of the hill, and I ran to my shop and climb up and crank it up. And when I take it off, the co-pilot was late, and he just climbed up.
So you didn't care if you had a co-pilot or not?
No, I didn't care.
Well, that's just like that mission later in the book with chapter 20 when they had the night bright light.
Yeah.
Where the hatchet force had been in. They had severe casualties. They had all been exfiltrated out. The last helicopter went in. Was again a Huey that went in on strings to pick up the team leader from the hatchet force. They had a sergeant that stayed back and a couple indigenous troops, and the chopper got shot down, crashed, and then that night they asked to go in. This is October '69, and Lynn Black went in, and took them out again with no crew. They took him out at night. Found the LZ and they thought they were going to have to repel in, but somehow he's able to find an area big enough to get the Kingbee in and went down. Lynn Black got in, picked up the team member, had a broken back, and the other survivors, and then he came back again at night, picked up the team. I think this time they had to pull him out on strings, and then they pulled him out.
Was there anyone else that could fly at night like you could?
Yeah, some of them.
Was it your eyesight? Was it just the amount of hours that you had in the helicopter?
Oh, yeah, we can see. you know that at that time the Kingbee, we only have the the C model that we got from the Army. Have the ADF, VHF, and FM.
Mm-hmm.
But the D model we got from the Marine. Have the Titan, UHF, VHF, FM, but since the Titan and the VSF, we don't use it often. We almost never use it, and it's too heavy, and it was installed in the tail boom, and it makes the chopper heavy, tail heavy. So I remove all of them.
You just
But
take
then
all those extra radios out.
Yeah, we don't use it. We only need the UHF and the
And
FM.
FM.
That's all.
And this leads me to a quick sidebar. I don't know if this is you or not, but we had in '68 the Kingbees the Marines wanted to race the Kingbees to Fubai. So they had
I mean, just a race.
a race.
Okay.
They
So we're
had
not
their
going to combat, we're
H-34.
just
Oh no,
racing.
no, this is just going from Da Nang from the air base, and the Kingbees go, "We'll race you to
Okay,
Fubai."
so
the
Kingbees
FOB-1.
versus what?
versus the Marine Corps H-34s. They still have some H-34s.
Oh, so it's Kingbee versus Kingbee.
Yeah, but it's Kingbee versus Marine Corps.
Got it.
With all the
With all the
radios.
equipment in there.
So the Marines had to go around High Van Pass and go over to South China Sea. Kingbees fly up and over, bing, they get the Fubai, win $100. I don't know if that was you or not, but that was one of our favorite Kingbee stories. The Frenchman always told that one.
Man, and then who's your maintenance crews?
Oh,
Was it Vietnamese
yes.
Air Force?
They were in the they are in the Vietnamese Air Force, and later on we got the let's see what was that? I totally forget. I think LOD. The it's an American company.
Oh, American company.
Yeah, they are the main job is only to replace the part. I supposed to change the tail rotor. They bring the whole set and put it on. They change the whole set.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't trust them. You know why?
Why?
Because one time after they changed the tail rotor, and after I checked everything, I start to clean up the chopper, clean up the engine, and the chopper starts jumping up and down, and I just split off the needle and cut off the engine, and the chopper was stay like this, and it started the nose come up. And I go down and check, and check the tail. Oh my God, guys! Only one, the 3 brake remain. It's supposed to have the 4 brake,
Oh, it only had 3?
but one was not there.
A tail rotor was MIA.
3 out of 4.
That could ruin your day.
Jeez. Yeah, we had in Vietnam, for the SEALs in Vietnam, they had a similar relationship that the SOG guys had with the Kimbees with the Sea Wolves, and they had to kind of improvise, and their maintenance, they were very proud of and very proud of their maintenance crews, because their maintenance crews would keep those aircraft running, and they would do whatever they had to do and rob, cheat, and steal to get the equipment that
scroungers.
That's right. And they were already, using birds that had, I forget, they scrounged up the aircraft themselves from somewhere. They were kind of leftover aircraft, and so it wasn't just the pilots and the gunners, and then on top of that, these incredibly hard-working sailors in the Navy that were making those birds able to fly on a moment's notice. But it's a very similar relationship for the SOG guys and the Kingbee pilots, as it is for the SEALs and the Sea Wolf guys.
Oh, they're of legend. Absolutely. Yeah. Outstanding.
Yeah, and just it's a similar, the attitude, what you said on earlier when I asked you, what are you thinking about when you need to go back into a spot where 2 Kingbees have already been shot down, and your response was, I want to get my friends out.
That's it.
That's the esprit de corps that is just unmatched, and having that relationship with, and just that warrior brotherhood is
and
awesome.
then there's a very human side. Like, there's a few times after we get pulled out right at last light, and we go up to the Kingbee pilot and say, hey, come on, I'll buy you a drink. And Captain 10 would say, I'm going home to my family. Or Captain Tuong, no, thank you, but I'm going to go home to my family. I'll be back tomorrow. You buy me drinks tomorrow. And they come back, and we had time to get in the clubhouse, have a drink before we go on the next mission. That's just amazing. And so you had this whole
that's crazy to think about
dichotomy.
Too. Yeah,
they're flying home to their family.
Jeez.
And they always came for us. They never, we never had them say no for us, any of our teams.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something to think about, because Americans, we are always fighting in someone else's country, right? We don't go home. We go on deployment.
That's it.
There's no family. Were you married during this time, or did you have kids during this time? Did you have your brother?
Yeah, I married in 1969, and I don't remember if I was shut down before it or after it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember, except the last time.
And you must remember, going on a mission, getting your aircraft shot up, and then going home to your wife and saying, "Hi, honey, I'm home."
Yeah.
Yep. Every time I was shot, and but they I think many times they miss me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One time I flew back from Khe Sanh back to Quang Tri, and the weather was very bad, and we flew low, about 300 feet along the hillside, and suddenly somebody fired a long line of fire, cracked it right at my ear, and I looked back look uphill, and I saw a lot of NVA, in Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the front lines, the seat, the second line, the knee, and the third line, they stand, just like that, and they were on the hill, and they're shooting at me.
Whoa.
And I told my cruise ship, shoot back, and I saw the
tracers.
The round dig up the hole in front of the front line of them. I don't know if they hit any of them or not, but because I was the last one in the fry at that time. And so I just keep flying back to Quang Tri, and back to Quang Tri, I found 49 holes.
He's flying from Khe Sanh, where we had FOB-3. He would pick up teams and launch for targets from Khe Sanh. And of course, when you flew into Khe Sanh, well, this is during the offensive.
Mm-hmm.
So that was so he flies from that hot zone, flying to Quang Tri, which is, quote, a secure base, and en route. There's 3 lines of NVA just practicing target, hit them 49 times. Yeah, 49 rounds.
What happened the last time you got shot down?
The last time I got shot down was in Budok, north of Ban Ma Thuột, and I inserted the team and came back. When I came back, I just like when you are in service for a long time or in combat for a long time, you have some feeling. I would say the sixth feeling, and I feel something wrong on the ground, down in the jungle. So from 1,500 feet, I go down to check it. At about 500 feet, they start to shoot at me.
And is this when you're trying to extract them, or is this during the insert?
He dropped them off. He's coming back from.
Okay, so after you drop them off, you're halfway home, and you decide you're going to go look on the ground.
Yeah.
And you start getting shot
instinct.
at.
Yeah, and I got mad, and I make zigzag fly, and I skipped the line of fire, and I got mad. I said that this is my land and I take care of it. Why you go down to shoot at me? So I come back and shoot, and I got hit again, and the chopper caught fire.
The round hit the fuel tank, and then the fuel ignites, and the fire comes from the fuel tank into the cabin. He's at 500 feet, trying to keep the aircraft stable to land while on fire.
And I was on top of the frame. The frames come up from the cabin to the cockpit, and if I land right somewhere around there, it will be okay. But I don't want it to be get caught. So I keep flying back to Budap.
So your plane's on. So your helicopter's on fire.
On fire.
You could You could land
Right
but
away.
you don't want to get caught
No.
because that's going to be horror.
And I tried to get back to Budap, and the flame keep burning. And one time it was so hot that I left all of the control, the corrective and cyclic. I left it. I keep my hand at my chest. When I left the cyclic, then the chopper start to dive down, and I saw the round coming up, and I just think in my head that it's on, it's over. But when it come close to the treetop, the instinct of survival pushed me to grab the cyclic and pull it back, and the chopper was diving down, and then suddenly when I pulled the cyclic back so hard, and it come up, I thought that the main rotor would come off, but it didn't. And I saw it, and I leveled it, and so the chopper dive in again. So it fly like a thin line in the sky. And finally, I make a crash landing in the open area.
So the handles were so hot that you couldn't hold on to them.
No.
But then at the last minute, survival instinct,
Yeah.
you knew what you had to do in order to
Yeah.
get some kind of a landing. So you just grabbed those.
And when I saw the LZ, I was flying at 80 nautical mile, and it was 90 nautical mile, and I moved the cyclic to the right and pushed the right pedal all the way down, and so the chopper at 90 nautical mile make a 360 degree so quick that I thought the tail boom came off, but it didn't, and it started to settle down, and I touched down very smooth, but it's still running. So it hit the tree, and on the wheel came off, the blade came off, and when it stopped, I grabbed the seat belt lock, and I pulled it, but instead, but I can pull it, my finger opened it, and for 3 times I used my left hand and my left elbow to hit the buckle. And release the lock, and I grabbed the handle of the window, because when I make a crash, it run, and the window run forward, move forward, and close it. So I grabbed the handle of the window, pull it back, but it happened like on the seat belt. I grabbed it, but the finger opened, but couldn't hold the handle.
Because the skin was burning off.
So I used my shoulder to hit the window, and broke the window out. I jumped out. When I jumped out, I saw from knee down, all of the material which came off was burned out, except the zipper remained, and the clothes is still burning. So I rolled down on the grass, wet grass, and to put it off. And after it was off, I couldn't stand up. And my crew chief ran by and grabbed me up and bring me to the guide me to the rescue chopper, the number three Kingbee.
So then you get on the number 3 Kingbee. They get you out of there, and you go straight to the hospital.
They brought me back to the military the Capt hospital. It was the military hospital in Saigon, and I stayed there for until 11 a.m. to next morning. Next morning, the one Kingbee pilot from Da Nang flew back with the American advisor, brought me to Third Field Hospital, and that's where I stayed for 8 months.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what was that process like? Those next 8 months?
Oh, they amputated my hand and make a skin graft on my leg, because my leg, when I was in the hospital, when the day the Dr. Smith, he amputated my hand, I asked him, how about my leg? He said he didn't know until after the operation.
Did they amputate both your hands at the same time?
Yes.
And then what was the plan from there? What happened after that?
After that, I go back and for 8 months. No, the main treatment about 4 or 5 months. But after that, I go back and forth to the hospital for the doctor to check it.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, after all the treatment, they sent me back to the Vietnamese hospital. And
at some point, I know you had a brother that was a AE-1 pilot, right?
Yeah, he's A1 pilot, yeah.
And what happened with him?
He was on the 95 mission, and he was missing. That's all we know.
And 95 missions were across the fence also, right?
No.
No?
He was missing about 30 kilometers north of Tay Ninh.
Tay Ninh, north of Tay Ninh.
And then what was it like when the war started to kind of wind down for, America leaving and the communists are going to take over? Yeah. What was that like for you?
At the end of April 95, yeah. One of the Kingbee pilot came to see me, and he was my co-pilot.
This is in April of 1995?
1975.
No, 1975.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And he asked me what we are going to do. And I said, I really don't know what to do now. Is everything messed up?
Did you feel like when the communists took over, mm-hmm. that you were just doomed, because clearly you were a veteran that had fought for South Vietnam? It seems like you must have felt like you would be doomed if they completed the takeover of Vietnam.
No, I don't think so.
No?
No. The thing is that we were desperate because we lost the war. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
And on the let's see, April 30, 1975. I was on board of one of the ships. I still remember the name, the Sea Challenger. And when I heard it was off of Vũng Tàu.
So you were on an American ship?
I don't know which it is.
The
but
Sea
maybe
Challenger?
Yeah, Sea Challenger. And when I heard the announcement of a surrender from General Minh, oh, my tears just came out. And I wanted to jump over the war. But when I look back and I see my 2 kids, and he stopped me. He stopped me from jumping out.
So then what happened? I mean, now you've got your 2 kids.
Yeah.
You're in Vietnam. The South has surrendered. What happened then?
And we go back home and then wait for what happened. And in July 75, I was in. They put me in the re-education camp.
In a re-education camp.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? Jeez.
Oh my God. They used to just talk about
Propaganda.
propaganda. That's all. And the thing is that the people who they want us to go to class every day, and we have to go to class every day. And they keep talking, but the guy who who talk, his level of knowledge. Oh my God! This is like maybe class 3, the grade 3.
So you're being re-educated by a third grader.
Yeah, by the 3rd grade. And and all of them talking the same way, just like the machine.
It's just indoctrination.
Yeah, indoctrination. Yeah.
How long were you at the re-education camp for?
I was there from from June to August.
And then how did you get out of the re-education camp?
Oh, one time I was going out with the other prisoner to clean up the camp, and I was pulling the barbed wire with them, and one of the guy, the NVA, told me that you keep working, and we have the inspection team from Saigon to come see. And when I saw that, I heard that, I didn't pull the barbed wire anymore. I just keep go along with my friend. And one of the guy in the inspection team, he came by my side and asked my name and my military ID. And after that, he said, "Okay, you keep working with your friend." And he left. He kept walking away, and about 50 meters away, he pulled out the notebook and started writing something. I don't know. But 1 week later, they transferred me from Long Giao to Suối Máu. And at the Suối Máu camp, I stayed there for another week. And one day, they announced on the radio that your people have a name below. Be prepared to have your family to pick your people back home.
So that was it. Then you got out of the camp.
Yeah.
And so now it's still 1975?
1975.
And then what happens? Then what do you start doing?
Then we start to live with my God. After 75, after when they take over the South, The life was miserable. You know, the people who everything is a stamp, food stamp, everything stamp, and 1 month maybe each of them, each people only can buy maybe 100 grams of meat.
100 grams of meat a month.
For a month, maybe. Or sometimes they don't. But it's say meat, but in fact, they even can give you either the hide or the fat or anything. And I still remember one time when the one of the guy who worked in the district, he ride a bicycle to around the street near my house, and said the fish people go to buy fish, and my son, he was at 75, 76, he was 9, 7 or 9, I don't remember. He just grabbed the basket and runs to so he can buy the fresh one. But if he came late, if he reached the selling place, there will be rotten fish only.
Only rotten fish.
Yeah.
So you lived in that regime for how many years? How many years did you have to live like this?
From 75 to, I don't really remember exactly, maybe about 84. About 84.
And you tried to escape a few times?
Yeah, the first time I tried to escape with my son, and we got caught.
How was your first escape attempt? What did you do?
I asked my neighbor. She has some information from other people, and so every time we have to pay. And the first time we got caught and at Nam Can, way south to Camo,
Way south, yes.
south of Camo, and we were in prison.
So they put you and your son in prison?
Yeah, you know the prison in Nam Can is just a case, maybe a wooden case, not a prison, about 1.5 the size of this room. They made it from
so maybe 20 feet by 20 feet or something.
Not even that.
Not even that.
And you know the tree that in the swamp, in the swamp that grow in the swamp.
Yes.
Yeah, they cut it and make it just like a cage.
Just a cage.
Yeah, just a cage, and they cover the top with barbed wire.
How were you planning to escape? What was the plan? Were you going to go by boat? Were you going to walk?
The only thing we can go is by boat.
By boat.
Yeah.
There's 4 corps, like a lot of canals, water, much water.
Yeah.
Very few roads.
And
how long were you in this cage for with your son?
maybe a couple months, and then they transfer us to Sóc Trăng.
Was that?
Yeah. And you know the case. You know in Nam Can, there were a lot of mosquito. A lot of mosquito, and every day we have only one. You know the tiger beer in Vietnam.
Yes.
Yeah, the bottle about this big, and every day only one bottle of water. For one day, for the whole day, everything.
For months, you're like this in a cage with barbed wire on top.
And the mosquito at about 5 p.m. We have to sit in the mosquito net. If not, they just it's a swarm of mosquito, just like a bee. And after a couple months, we will move to somewhere. Move to
Was it another prison?
another prison.
How long were you in total prison for, and why'd they eventually let you out? Or how did you get out eventually?
My family and or the other who the people who organized the escape, they get in touch with the local, and every time they want myself and my son, we were released, we have to pay about 6 or 7 ounces of gold.
6 or 7 ounces of gold.
No, not ounce.
Oh.
Let's see, 0.6 or 0.7 ounce of gold.
Got it.
Where would you find gold?
They like gold.
Jeez.
The time I got caught in Nam Can, the police, he just grabbed put his hand in my pocket, and found a ring, a gold ring, and he just take it and put it in his pocket. And my pack of cigarette, he take it out and smoke and put in his pocket too.
That's when you got caught the second time?
No, it's the first time.
Oh, the first time. So you lost your gold ring, you lost your pack of smokes.
Yeah.
And then you tried to escape a couple more times?
Yeah, another 2 times. But after the first time, I saw that my son is getting bigger. I don't want him to be assigned to be called to service by with the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So
Jeez.
I let him go by himself.
So your son escaped by himself.
Yeah.
Did he make it?
Yeah, he made it in 87. That means at that time he was 16, 17. Yeah.
So you were facing either your son escapes or your son is going to have to actually serve in the NVA, who you had fought against for however long, 6 years.
Right. Mm-hmm. And
Jeez.
after my son have escaped, then I brought my daughter to escape another 2 times. I got caught too.
Oh my God.
And was the punishment as severe the second 2 times?
Oh, no, the second time it was okay, but after we can get out a couple months after we pay about 0.6 or 0.7 ounces of gold.
Where do you find gold?
Oh, luckily that my sister, who passed away early this year, he sent the money to help my mom.
Where was your sister?
My sister in France.
So she was in France.
Yeah.
So she was able to somehow send money to your mom.
No, she didn't send money. She sent medicine.
Medicine.
And I sell it. I sold it.
Okay, got it. So you were a drug
At
dealer.
that time, there's no medicine in Vietnam.
And during that time too, your father was killed, right?
My father died in 63.
63.
63.
Okay,
63.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
And-
the day I joined the Air Force.
The day you joined the Air Force,
Yeah,
they
my
killed
dad
your...
passed away. My father passed away that day.
So how did you finally get out of Vietnam and get to America?
Oh, let's see. In 88, then I heard that the HO program. I am not qualified for that program.
You
So-
say H-O?
HO, yeah, Humanitarian Organization.
Okay.
Departure, yeah, and it helped the people who was in service or who was in prison in the communist prison for more than 3 years can apply to come here, and
How did you not qualify for that?
because the total time I spent in prison is only 2.5 years.
Oh, so you needed to spend some more time in prison to qualify. Jeez.
Can you imagine that after all his service?
Good Lord.
And so I thought that maybe I might be leaving Vietnam forever. So I prepare for my what I plan to what I'm going to do to leave. But at that time, the South Vietnamese Air Force Association in San Jose, they met Colonel Masuoka. He was the Air Force retired colonel.
So this is an American Air Force retired colonel,
Yeah,
Masuoka,
Masuoka, yeah.
and he was working with the San Jose South Vietnamese Air Force Association.
Yeah, and the South Vietnamese Air Force Association asked him to help me, and he went to Vietnam and saw me. When he asked me to bring on my paper that I have, and I brought it to him. And when he saw the DFC, and he said,
When he saw the what? The DFC?
"No, DFC, Distinguished Flying Cross."
What's that?
American Award.
Oh, the DSC. Got it. Or the Distinguished Flying Cross. Got it.
Right.
Okay.
I have
got
it here.
Yeah, no, I got it. I misunderstood you.
It's okay.
Okay, so he saw that.
But he didn't say anything. But later on, he said that he told me that he didn't believe it, because usually the DFC is supposed to give maybe a award to the American only.
Mm-hmm.
So after he looked on on my paper, and he said that he will try 100%, but he is not guaranteed 100%. And he came back to state, and he called one of the guy who worked in the archive, National Archive, and that guy was working with him in the military. When he was colonel, that guy was second colonel.
Okay. Oh, like a lieutenant colonel.
Yeah, lieutenant colonel.
Got it.
Sorry. And they looked at they found the DFC. And
They found your DFC.
Yeah, and they found all the record and the paperwork on that DFC.
Wow.
And they managed the National Enquirer, the magazine.
The National Enquirer magazine.
Yeah. they found the four guys that I rescued.
Okay.
And one pilot came to see me, and it's a zone liner, and his squadron command is Morrison. And they came, National Enquirer bought the airplane ticket, and so they came over here to see me.
Wow. And so then they set up that program to get you back here. So
Yeah.
what year did you finally get back here? Or what did you get to America?
Let's see. I came here in 94.
1994.
Yeah, 1994.
What family did you leave back in Vietnam?
My mom, when I left Vietnam, my mom's still there. But I told my nephew, the son of my missing brother, yeah, to take care of, to come over and live with her, so I can go. And I came here in. I left Vietnam on January 10, 94. And I reached Travis here on January 15, 94.
And then what happened? Did you have any family here? Did you know anybody?
No, at first I lived in the same house with the chief of the the South Vietnamese Air Force Association here.
Okay.
Yeah, I lived for 6 months. After that, I moved out.
And then did you get a job? What did you do?
No, yeah. At that time, my son and my brother, my son and my daughter work to support me.
Okay.
Yeah, and
When you made it out, so you had your son and your daughter with you when you made it out?
my son came here before.
Oh, that's right. So he was already here. That's
And,
right.
But when I came here in '94, my daughter came with me.
Got it.
Yeah.
So your son and your daughter were here, or your son was already here. Your daughter came with you, and now they're working and starting to figure out life in America.
Yeah.
How big of a shock was that to you?
At that time, I was sad because just stay home and do nothing, and waiting for for what is going to happen. Because at that time, they were trying to get the citizenship for me, so I can so they can keep me here. And it's a lot of petition at that time. Against was have had actually a letter of petition.
Jeez.
Senator Greenwich, yeah.
Right.
And in 96, yeah, I got a citizenship.
1996, you got your citizenship here in America.
Uh-huh.
Jeez.
Then you went to the Santa Clara Fire Department?
Before that, after that, I go to school for the accounting class. And after 1 year, I got a job in Santa Clara Fire Department. I worked for almost 3 years, and then they ran out of budget, and I was laid off and unemployed for 6 months, and got another job in the IRS.
Oh, you worked for the IRS?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I suppose we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah. He's one of them. He goes from a good guy, a hero, to the IRS.
And how long were you at the IRS for?
From 2000 to 2013. 13 years.
And that was it? After that, you retired?
Yeah.
And what are you doing now?
Sleep and watch TV.
No more prairie fire emergencies, huh?
But at first, it was really boring. I tried to look for the part-time job, but I couldn't find a part-time job.
So then you just pure retirement now.
Yeah.
You looked for a part-time job, there wasn't anything.
I don't care what was anything. It's just maybe it's about 4 hours or 6 hours a day.
You're ready to work.
Yeah.
Ready to work, sick of watching TV. And you're up in this area here, in the San Jose area?
Yes.
San Jose.
Since the day I came here.
Okay, because we might be able to find a job for you. Somebody probably looking for someone.
Got to. Yeah. We'll have to work on that.
Yeah. Tilt, did I miss anything? I mean, let me rephrase that. I know there's all kinds of stories. Is there anything else that you want to bring up?
No, I think those are the major stories. Just
the documented ones.
Indeed.
Because that's one thing. I mean, when we broke down your 3,000 combat flight hours, I mean, you could talk for 3,000 hours explaining what happened on all those missions. So, I mean, just unbelievable that you were able to get through all that. Crazy.
My friend, he told me that they couldn't believe that I still alive until today.
For sure.
For sure. So, Tilt, but anything else though?
No, we've covered the major points there, and just like that one time where the Marines need help, here he comes. He just went there under fire, and so many times as Kingbee's got shot up. I mean, 40, 50 rounds, holes. Just amazing stories, and the men. There's so many of our SOG guys are alive today, thanks to the Kingbee pilots. Period. and of course the other aviators. But in our case, we had that direct relationship with them. They were our primary assets. They put us in. They always came to pull us out. And the Pat Watkins thing you let off with, just a classic moment. It just captured the essence of that on-the-ground, intense firefight. And here comes a Kingbee. Not only did he come, he settles into a bomb crater so he can get on the helicopter and go home.
On anything else you want to add?
I think that's enough.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's just been an honor to talk to you, and thank you so much for coming on. And more important, thank you for your service and your sacrifice. We won't forget it. And you took so many risks. You took so many risks, and you paid such a price in order to save your comrades and your brothers in arms, and to be there for the guys on the ground. And we appreciate that, and we appreciate the fact that you stood the line to defend freedom in the world. So thank you.
And during the Secret War, the Kingbees were another secret that nobody knew about. Mm-hmm. And so I thank you for doing this to get the story about our heroic and the other Kingbee pilots, unfortunately many of whom we've lost.
Yeah.
We buried Captain Tuong 3 months ago. And our Secret War had its secrets. And one of the gems, one of the great assets were our Kingbees. And we salute you every day, and they're brothers in arms. So thank you for doing that, Jocko.
It's an honor.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. And with that, Tilt and On have left the building. And once again, we are left with an example of what human beings can do, what human beings can face, what human beings can overcome. Pretty amazing.
Yes, sir.
Pretty humbling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feel like we can do more.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much the general kind of overall consensus, is I feel like we can do more.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to do more. I feel like I need to do more anyways. I don't want to like bring you over
yeah,
into
like group me into your whole thing.
My whole process of trying to do more, because I think sometimes you feel like maybe you're good with what you're doing.
Sure. Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. But yes, I think so. So, he mentioned, and we all know, that he lost both his hands.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on joined the fire department.
Yeah.
So,
well, he was an accountant at the fire department, but yes, he's at the fire department with no hands.
Yeah.
And by the way, I mean, he lost his hands, both hands. And I asked him about it. He's like, oh yeah, well then I went to, there was no hesitation in carrying on with what he was going to do. He's just going to, whatever. I guess he's going to get hooks and he's going to carry on. That's what he's doing.
And then at the end, which kind of gives you an insight to like how he's thinking, where he's like, yeah, I'm like retired, and I kind of just made a joke like I just sleep and watch TV. And he's like, man, I'm kind of looking for a part-time job, like I gotta go do some stuff.
You know what I was thinking about? If somebody told you a story where they said, listen, here's what's going on. I was in a helicopter, I was flying the helicopter, and the controls of the helicopter were burning and they were on fire, and I couldn't hold on to him, so I just let him go. And then right as we were about to crash, I just grabbed onto him and I steered the aircraft, the helicopter, and I got it to land, and we lived. But those controls were so hot, it was crazy. Okay, so if you heard that, you would think one level of the word hot, right?
Yeah.
And there's no way that the level of hot that could be explained to you is so hot that you lose both of your hands from voluntarily grabbing the controls.
Yeah.
Like that does. And then as you're trying to get your seatbelt off, your hands are just ripping apart, falling apart.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that opening that I read from On the Ground, with the book On the Ground by John Stryker Meyer, is just, it's crazy to think, oh, guess what? There's going to be too dangerous, so I'm not going to take a co-pilot or a crew chief. All I'm going to bring is a door gunner and me. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. That's another level.
Yeah.
By the way, you're sitting on a base, like warm, whatever, I don't know, cool. Maybe you're in AC. You just had a piece of chicken or something. Like, life is pretty good, right? And not to mention, these guys in Vietnam, they're like, have to go home at night, like Till was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, oh, cool, I'm going to go home now.
Yeah.
Because I think when I was on deployment, I just put all that family stuff out of my brain.
Yeah,
I wasn't thinking about my wife and kids.
Mode,
yeah, I was in just the deployment mode. I think it would be really hard to go, oh, deployment mode? Well, singing ballet recital with the child, with the daughter.
Yeah, you know how they say, hey, don't bring your work home, or what? You know, what's that saying?
Yeah.
Right, that's another level right there.
It's another level. Check.
So, yes, we can do more. So, yeah, all right, well, keep us. We're keeping ourselves in the game. Mm-hmm. We're all getting older. We're not getting younger, put it that way.
Maybe some of us are getting older.
Okay, so you're just going back in time. When you edit video, there's a thing you can do that freezes the frame, right? So that's kind of what you feel that you're doing, freezing the frame.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, when you're working out anyway, you need supplementation. That's undeniable. I guess you could deny it if you wanted to. Nonetheless, supplementation.
That'd be a mistake.
I think you'd be a mistake, yes, sir. So anyway, Jocko has supplements called Jocko Fuel. So these supplements include, but not limited to, joint warfare for your joints, super krill oil also for your joints, general health, some omega-3s in there. These are important is what I'm saying. Also, discipline go. 3 versions of the discipline. Powder. Do you drink powder every day in the morning?
Kind of, yes. Matter of fact, yes.
So I was thinking about this. So in the morning, I drink coffee. Am I a coffee drinker? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't drink coffee every single morning. Mm-hmm. But that's like, as far as morning routines go, coffee's not part of your routine. I know that.
Definitely not part of my routine.
But is the discipline. Because you get up, work out, right? So you take the discipline every morning before the workout.
Nope. I take it before I work.
Oh.
Yeah.
After the workout.
Yeah. When I wake up in the morning, I don't drink anything. I just drink water.
Boom, go. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, interesting. That is interesting. I just
now
assumed.
When I'm going to the jiu-jitsu, on the way there, I'm drinking discipline for
3
sure.
3 scoops all day.
Yeah, 3 scoops actually.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes actually 4.
All right, there you go. But nonetheless, and then yeah, so there is powder version, also capsule version. Cool, that's when you're on the go. And then the energy drink, healthy energy drink version. Mm-hmm. See, this is a good one. So as far as energy drinks go, like we say, you can have an energy drink, but if even saying energy drink kind of brings along the stigma of the energy drink.
Definitely.
Discipline, go. Energy drink, RTD, does not have that stigma because it is factually healthy.
Truth.
It's true. Anyway.
Sometimes you look at me, you want me to give you backup on your statement.
No.
And I just got that look, but then you made a complete thought, right? So nothing else for me to add.
Yes, sir.
Like, no, it's good for you.
A lot of times I look at you because, like, sometimes you'll have this look like, oh, let me like you remembered something. Yeah, like you want to, and I just want to give you that opportunity.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I always have a nice, thank you for the opportunity
I'm just saying, sometimes you say some good stuff. Anyway, also milk, dessert in the form of protein in the form of dessert.
6 in one, half dozen the other?
Yes, sir.
Either way, we do know this. We're getting something that's tasty and good for us.
Good for us. And
so you could essentially just say it's good.
It's good.
Because that covers all bases.
Yes.
Good for you. Good tasting.
It depends on what kind of good, because there's a lot of kinds of good. And for good, various things.
You've been doing a lot of lawyer activity with me lately about, well, it depends on what you mean by.
Yeah. Because
I've been noticing.
Yeah, because you can't just blanket statement a lot of stuff. Okay. Like, okay, so my daughter asked me, what's your favorite color? So I'm like, all right, well, it kind of depends. Like, let's say black was my favorite color. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, I don't necessarily want everything to be black. Some things I want to be red. Like, I don't want to eat a black strawberry. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying, though? a lot of these questions.
Okay, like I said, you're doing a lot of
these questions demand a little
favorite
bit
color
of
camo. Next question.
Well, you'd want to eat a camo orange.
Yes,
I'll tell you that.
If there
You
was
do
such a
want to
thing.
eat it.
If there was such a thing, if you could get an orange that was camo, and we just called it a camo instead of an orange.
All right. Well, I just think of like, what if my wife's face was camo? Well, then again, that wouldn't be too bad either. So, camo. All right. Well, whatever. All right. Cool. I'll simplify my answers. How about that? Cool.
Yes, that would be appreciated by everybody in the world.
All these things, Jocko Fuel, available in various locations, including originmain.com.
Yes,
Vitamin Shop.
absolutely.
And as far as discipline go, energy drink cans, Wawa.
Yes.
Available straight up.
And by the way, also on Amazon.
Yes, sir. Also, speaking of originmain.com, you can get
Wawa, Florida right now. Wawa, whole East Coast, January. There, I said it. It's looking like January for the whole East Coast. Thanks to the Floridians.
Yes, sir.
The Florida troopers out there getting after it, clearing shelves, moving us in the right direction that we can hope for January. Full loadout. Wawa. The people from Pennsylvania are fired up.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that on social media? People from Pennsylvania, people from Jersey, people from Virginia are like, we need it up here in this Wawa.
Yes. Yeah, I did see a Pennsylvania probe in there for sure. Yes, good. Okay, back to originmain.com. American-made stuff, including gis, rash guards, jeans, American denim, and boots.
Yeah, and you might think to yourself, oh, American-made jeans, right? Okay, I know what that's going to be. That's going to be a $350 pair of jeans. That's what you might be thinking that.
Potentially.
You're thinking wrong.
Yeah.
Actually, you're thinking wrong. Get yourself a couple pair of Origin jeans.
Yeah.
And listen, they're not as cheap as we want them to be right now, but as we grow, as we scale, we will be able to get the price down even more.
Cool.
But join the club of supporting America.
It's true. Also boots, like I said. Also, Jocko's store. It's called Jocko's store. And speaking of clubs, we have another club. It's not really a club.
Yeah,
it's just subscription. Yeah, the club. I mean, really. Anyway, it's a subscription-based T-shirt scenario.
I like that way better than club. I think club is something that you do unless you're in a motorcycle gang club.
Yeah,
then that's like one club.
Oh, so it depends. Oh, doesn't it?
Well, that's just sort of a old school name.
Oh, right, but it depends on the word, what you mean by club.
Why are you being a lawyer?
Because you're over here, you see what I'm saying. Anyway, yes, club, subscription-based T-shirt situation.
Which you are wearing one today. Is this the initial launch mode?
No, it's one of the other ones. Anyway,
I must say, that one's dope.
Yeah.
And I don't throw that phrase around very often at all.
Once in a while, yeah, but yes, sir.
Lots of layers.
A lot of layers. And yeah, these T-shirt ideas, they come, they go, some stick, some don't stick, but this is like an opportunity for all of us to sort of, capitalize on some of the cool T-shirt ideas that just fly in from time to time. Yeah. And just like the ideas come and go, the shirts will come and go every month.
You got one shot to get one of these shirts.
Then they're gone. Anyway, JockoStore.com, that's where you can jump on that if you want. Also on JockoStore.com, you can get the Discipline Equals Freedom, good, all this stuff, shirts, hats, hoodies. Some cool stuff on there. So yeah, if you want something, get something.
That makes sense to me. You can subscribe to this podcast too if you haven't done that, wherever you subscribe to podcasts. I also got some other podcasts, Jocko Unraveling with Daryl Cooper, which used to be called The Thread. Now it's called Jocko Unraveling. Also Grounded podcast, also Warrior Kid podcast. We also have a YouTube channel where Echo gets to manifest his little video fantasies.
Okay, so you will always say that, and hey man, good. But when you think about it, YouTube channel, you're talking about enhanced videos that we at some point started calling enhanced. Okay, maybe I made that up, but either way, there are not that many of them. They're all just like the video version of this podcast and some excerpts of this podcast. So technically, the YouTube channel that's more you than anything. So, I'm just saying, you put it on me a lot. So I'm just saying, it's kind of both of us.
I don't know. It's sort of the outlet for your stuff, though. Kind of.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of true.
Like, I don't see your stuff being out. You haven't written any books yet.
That's
right?
true.
You
Yes.
don't. Do you have a podcast? I guess you have this podcast.
Technically, yeah. I guess. No, that's true because yes, if I want to express myself in any capacity
coming out
creatively, yeah, where's it gonna land? It's gonna land on the YouTube channel.
Like me, I'm over writing songs. I'm over playing guitar.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, hell
doing
yeah.
art. I'm painting. I'm drawing. I'm writing books.
Uh-huh.
I'm just all. But video, that's your realm.
Yeah.
I let you do that.
Yeah, you make a video or two every once in a while, which is good. Which is
Who, I
very
do?
good. Oh yeah.
Check. All right.
Nonetheless, yes. Okay, so I understand now. I understand what you're saying, and you're correct, and I am corrected, and I understand that fully, and I accept that. Also, Psychological Warfare. It's an album. You know how you were talking about you make music sometimes? You're just making albums.
Yeah. There you go.
So this is one of them. Anyway, this is not a music one, though. This is Jocko helping you with each track identify and help you overcome any weakness that you might encounter. So that one is one of those things that's helpful, but it's 100% effective.
Check.
There you have it.
Also, we have a visual form of that, flipsidecanvas.com. Dakota Meyer making all kinds of cool stuff to hang on your wall. Got a bunch of books. The books today I read from On the Ground. We also have Across the Fence, Sog Chronicles, all those three by John Stryker Meyer. Tilt, and also Whiskey Tango Foxtrot by Lynn Black. These are some of the SOG books that are just awesome. About Face by Colonel David Hackworth. I wrote the foreword to that. It's available now. Leadership Strategy and Tactics Field Manual. The Code, the Evaluation, the Protocols. Discipline Equals Freedom Field Manual. Way of the Warrior Kid 4 Freedom Field Manual is out right now. You can better order that ASAP if you want it for Christmas. Mike and the Dragon. Actually, anything you want for Christmas, order it right now. Right now. That's my encouragement to you, because otherwise it's not going to be there by Christmas. You got all these, everyone's ordering everything, and delivery people and delivery planes and delivery trucks are short. They're going to run out. So your package is going to be sitting in a warehouse somewhere, and your kid's going to be crying. And why are they crying? 2 reasons. Number one, they don't have Warrior Kid. Number two, they don't have Warrior Kid, because if they did, they wouldn't be crying about it.
Yeah, it's true.
They would put their emotions in check. So you might want to check that out. And also Extreme Ownership and the Dichotomy of Leadership. Echelon Front is my leadership consultancy. You go to echelonfront.com if you want help with your leadership. EF Online, where we are training leadership online all the time. Go to efonline.com if you want to ask me a question or you want to figure out some leadership problem that you have. Come and ask us. Muster 2020. I'll let you know about the dates for Muster 2021. That's where we're heading. EF Overwatch, if you need people inside your organization that understand the principles we talk about here, go to efoverwatch.com. We will supply you with military personnel who are ready for their civilian job to go out and lead. And if you want to help service members, active duty and retired families, Gold Star families, if you want to help out in a bunch of different ways, then check out Mark Lee's mom. Her name is Mama Lee. She's got a charity organization, and if you want to donate or you want to get involved, go to americasmightywarriors.org. And listen, if you seek personal internal agony, it's what you want. What you want is to cause pain to yourself, then we can deliver. You can get more of my lackluster allocations. Or if you need more of, I think this one's good, if you need more of Echo's inexplicable explanations. You like that one?
Semi-explicable. How about that?
You can find us on the interwebs. Twitter, Instagram, which, just so Echo knows what I'm talking about when I say Instagram, I know you only refer to as the gram. Mm-hmm. And on Facebook, Echo's at Echo Charles. I am at Jocko Willink. And most important, John Stryker Meyer is on Instagram at J Stryker Meyer. And thanks once again to Captain On for taking the time to share his experiences with us, and more importantly, for risking his life over and over and over again for his brothers on the ground and for freedom. And thanks to every one of you out there in every branch of service, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and to all of our allies that have stood by us on the battlefield to protect the sacred ideal of freedom. Thank you. And thanks to those of you in uniform on the home front. Police and law enforcement, firefighters, paramedics, EMTs, dispatchers, correctional officers, Border Patrol, Secret Service, and all the first responders. Thank you for keeping us safe here at home. And to everyone else out there, think of Captain On. Think of taking care of others. Think of recognizing the risk of his mission. Going into an area where they had already lost helicopters and deciding at the moment of truth that he would just go with one other man so as to save as many lives as possible. A decision which for him was perfectly logical and, as he said, no big deal. When the call came, he went. And we all should do the same. Go. And until next time, this is Echo and Jocko. Out.